well.
Have a great year.
Bobby Dawson says, "Hey, homie, cataracts is a serious issue for some. Like it or not, this played a part in that win. You can choose to downplay it, but many deal with the issue. Blood has to show that he can be healthy. And see, this is exactly why. If you got, let's rewind it back. Let's rewind it back. Let's rewind it back like the last 3-4 years leading up to the fight. Especially the last 2 years, I got so frustrated with this damn fight, but when they weren't getting able to get it done, I said, you know what? I don't give a damn if that ever happens. Want to know why? Because Terence is gonna beat the brakes off Earl, and when he beats him, it's just gonna be nothing but BS. And look, we didn't hear nothing about cataracts at all before the fight. He had this injury before the Pacquiao fight in 2021. He had all this time to go get the surgery. Earl could have got it done, and he didn't do it. So my thing is, that's on him. That's not on
Crawford.
It's not on Crawford. So
even a healthy, and I'm saying straight up right to you. God bless you. Even a healthy Spence with this eye will get beat twice as bad by Crawford when they fight.
I mean, listen, and V9 says just imagine if Errol Spence wins Crawford against Crawford. That would be the best comeback in decades, and then the trilogy would be a big money maker. It would be a hell of a comeback. Yeah. It would be the kind of things you make movies about. Truth be told, I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen because then everyone's going to demean the demolition job Terence Crawford did in the first fight. And Terence Crawford had to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop after hoop to get the first fight. And then he wins the first fight, and they say, nah, the first fight doesn't matter. Come on, man. That's bogus.
But I'm saying, so let's say in the next fight, he hurts him worse than what he does. Makes him look worse than this time to make a point to all fans, to all Spence fans. What they're going to say then? Yeah. You can't argue the point he was not healthy and this and that. So the reality is, you got to accept the fact that he got beat. He had the Ugas before the Ugas fight or whatever, the Ugas fight, this fight, that fight, to get it fixed. He didn't get it done. I just feel that his pride's been hurt a lot, and he's trying to make it some type of an excuse to cover all that up and say this and that. If that's the case, you should have said that before you made the fight and said, let me get my cataracts fixed, and then I'll fight you on the first fight healthy 100%. So and he didn't do that.
They was doing all this tweeting. While you were tweeting, you should have been at the damn doctor's office. But nonetheless, look.
Anyways,
with the surgery, they're saying it takes 8 months to heal. Okay, now I'm gonna be a little optimistic. You know, a man can dream. So maybe the rematch doesn't happen right away. I know contractually it's obligated, but I'm not sure if Terence is gonna sit around and wait for Earl. I mean, it's already been what they fought in July. So how many months is that? 7 months already. What? August, September, October, November, December. So we're like 6 months in.
Well,
now.
I will say this: if the public wants this fight, and if the public continue questioning Crawford, that's just going to be more motivation for Crawford to go in there. And I'm sorry to hate it. Skill pays the bills. I don't care if a blind man can see it, but Crawford's got more skills than Spence. Whether he gets the 100 eyes fixed, whether he gets the laser thing done, he is not beating Crawford.
Okay, but the bigger topic in all this for me, truthfully, is can I know it's asking a lot because Terence has always, even before the Spence fight was made, even like before we thought that the Spence fight could even happen, anytime I've ever heard Terence Crawford asked about Jaron Ennis, he's always been overly dismissive. Now, to be fair to Terence, because I'll be fair, Boots had some opportunities to put his best foot forward and try to make the fight happen, and there are some things that his team did that put him at a disadvantage. So it's a two-sided coin, but still, Terence continues to dismiss Jaron Ennis. And as far as I'm concerned, Terence is still a welterweight. He still holds 3 of the 4 belts. The other belt is held by Jaron Ennis. And look, to me, that was the actual real fight, because I remember saying before, like a whole year before Terence and Bud.
But that goes for both of them, Brendan.
Terence and Earl, I should say.
Earl didn't fight.
Boots was Earl's IBF mandatory.
So there you go. So, I mean, both of them.
But I don't really care about Earl fighting Boots anymore, because Earl can't even make 47 like that.
Okay.
He was complaining about it before they even made the Crawford fight. So the fight is still Crawford versus Ennis. And so if Spence has to sit out with an injury and wait and recover, is it too much to ask for Terence to fight Jaron Ennis?
Do you think? Do you feel that there's something that Crawford sees to avoid Boots, or do you just feel that that the money's not there?
He just feels like
he's not going to pay him?
Look. He just got paid. Look, he just fought on pay-per-view in a big event. He tasted that quote unquote PBC money, the Al Heyman checks.
Okay.
And he don't want to go back to fighting the guys. Like, why fight Boots, right? Because the money's not going to be what it was for. And you know, I'm gonna quote one of my buddies, my boy Sean Tatel from Fight Hype. Shout out to him, because he makes this point. when we talk. It's like look at Bernard Hopkins, right? Bernard Hopkins, great fighter, great champion, all-time great. When Jermaine Taylor was in the division, Jermaine Taylor didn't have like a great resume before Hopkins fought him, but people could watch Jermaine Taylor and they can clearly see at that particular time that Jermaine Taylor was the most skilled or one of the most skilled young middleweight in the world. And so even though maybe he didn't have the names and maybe it didn't bring the money, quote unquote, it was still the best fight that could be made in the division. And kind of in the same fashion, that's kind of how I feel about Terence and Boots fighting each other. Boots doesn't have the resume because Boots, he hasn't had the chance to get those
big names,
big fights that often. But Boots is clearly, especially now, with Spence out the picture, really, because he's now 147 pounder, and now with the division landscape changing, he's clearly the best welterweight not named Terence Crawford. So that's if Terence is still a welterweight, there is no he's better than Earl Spence. Right. There is no better fight in the division to make. So why not make it? And what's the issue?
And I will say this, okay.
Why not fight Boots? Because the IBF? The IBF stripped you or whatever. You could beat him and become a 2-time welterweight undisputed champion. A 3-time undisputed champion in your career.
First of all, if the public wants to see the Boots and the Boots Crawford, get the fight made, like you said, because Earl Spence is hurt right now, right? Number one. Number two, you don't know what Boots is going to do because you're not giving him his chance. You go in there and you try to shut them down and beat them, then you shut off all that Boots nonsense. But if you don't, it's always going to be a question. Boots could whoop your ass because you don't want to fight him. There's a reason why you don't want to fight him. I'm just saying what people might think. I don't know.
Let me see. Wow, Victor. He didn't even beat Brian Mendoza. He's still recovering from Brian Mendoza knocking him the hell out. You know what? Why not them fight? If Earl wants to go 54, I think Fundora will be an interesting fight. Why not? Hurricane Inc. calls Earl the excuse Spence. Oh man. Yeah. Y'all getting real active and hectic in them comments.
Brian Mendoza?
Look, Brian Mendoza will fight anybody. Brian Mendoza fought Fundora when people were saying Fundora was this and he was that. He went to Australia and they fought Tim Tszyu. So look, if paperwork was passed Brian Mendoza's way and the money was just, it don't even gotta be great. If it was just decent for the opportunity to fight a big name like Earl Spence, I'm 1,000% sure he would take it. And that'd be a good fight for Spence, right? Because it coming out the eye surgery, it would be good for him to fight somebody who's a full-fledged 54-pounder. We know he can punch. We know Brian. Yeah. If Brian Mendoza can't do nothing else, he can punch. So that would be a really good introduction to the division. If Earl fought Brian Mendoza next, that would suffice. I would like that fight.
So do you think in 2024 or maybe 2025 we'll get the Crawford and Butanis or no?
I don't think that fight's ever happening.
Never, sir.
Well,
hold on. Ain't they both now?
Crawford's 36.
But hold on, aren't they both?
Boots is not with Al Heyman.
Oh, okay.
Boots is with Espinosa. He was signed to Showtime, but he was never officially a Heyman fighter. In fact, they talking about Boots going to Eddie Hearn potentially. There's been conversation about that. Yeah. But shout out to Matt Graham. Matt says, "Yo, BT and Pops, great to see you back for another live. Mm-hmm. Great content as always. Keep it up, lads. Much love from the land down under." Australia,
baby.
Shout out to all the
Tim Tszyu. Yeah.
He said
that name, baby. Zoo. I'm sorry.
He said also it's a bad excuse. Oh, yeah, man. I don't like it. Carl Hansen, he's back again. Another Aussie. I miss seeing Pops kneeling those Heineken cans.
Well, I got teeth. I had the other night. I'm gonna have time with you again, okay? And one day when I get my passport, I'm gonna get it. Me and my son are gonna come see you in Australia, baby. Because I'm a big fan of Tim Tszyu. He gonna kick some ass at 154. Here's his time right now.
Stay on topic. You veering off. You get a couple Aussies in the chat.
Yeah.
And you start veering off.
Okay, go ahead.
Stay on topic.
Back to Spence. Go ahead.
All right. So we got my man Bobby again. He says Pops. So he's pretty much saying you're wise. I'm dumb. You're wise. Pops, you're wise, brother. Crawford didn't beat a healthy Spence. Everybody can't beat Ali and survive and win without the vision.
Well, I mean, like I'm saying, if he gets everything fixed, and every man would when I was on the block and I got my ass kicked by the biggest guy, guess what I did? I went back to that motherfucker and I tried to beat him back up. So I get your point. I want him to redeem himself because he still got in him Texas. He got that Texas thing in. And if he's got that will and he wants to go and say, listen, I'm healthy now, and that's a bigger confidence booster for him to feel more comfortable to fighting Crawford, so be it. Let's go get it.
MAZBX got the receipts, man. He said BLK Prime offered to fight 2 Boots, and his pops said that they're loyal to Espinoza, and they did say that.
Oh, wow.
But I'm just saying, like, even before all that, Crawford was dismissive. Look, I personally, to be honest with you guys, I can't really stand this division because I feel like it takes too long for things to happen. I think Crawford. I think now with him beating Spence, his whole attitude since he's beat Spence kind of to just the boxing world and in general has just kind of been like, look, kiss my ass. That's kind of just how he's been to the boxing world since he beat Spence. And he feels like he don't got to do anything ever again because he beat Earl Spence, which to some degree is kind of true because he was denied that fight for so many years. So I get his sentiments. I get where he's coming from. But if you're still going to box and you're going to claim to be the top pound fighter in the world while you got a guy across the pond in Japan who's doing his thing, trying to take your throne, and even Magazine named him Fighter of the Year, I feel like you should have that right there. Just Inoue's greatness in the sport alone, that should be enough. The fact that anybody's even saying that Inoue's better than you, that should be enough to say, you know what? Whoever is the biggest and baddest MFer left, I beat the guy that they were saying. Well, guess what? The next one, okay, how about him? Why not?
You're not satisfied. I think if deep down inside you and a lot of fans, you're not satisfied until he fights Boots. Is that what you're saying to give with Crawford? Because a lot of people say Crawford now is waiting for the so-called after he fight. He wants a Canelo fight.
If he said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fight Tim Tszyu. My intention is to fight Tim Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz, or maybe if they make the fight first, I'll fight the Tim Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz winner. I'm gonna take a fight at 54 to get accustomed to the weight. But my target is to fight the Tim Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz winner. If he said that right now, I would shut the hell up about Boots. But the problem is the only fight Terence Crawford seems to talk about and care about is Canelo, which to me, I mean, maybe it can happen. I don't want to say it's unrealistic because money talks and bullshit walks, but it is unrealistic because what? Canelo Alvarez is gonna fight you, and it will be a big event. It'll be a big event, but Canelo's got so many options. He can fight Benavidez. He can fight, you name it. Fight any of those guys at 68.
And then not to change that, but didn't Canelo shoot it down anyway? So he didn't want to fight Crawford.
Well, initially he did because Crawford said he wanted to catch it, but then Crawford said he'll go to 68 for it. So, I think it's unrealistic, but
I would like to see the Boots Crawford fight. Only for simple fact, even more so now because of the fact that we don't know when Spence actually going to come back, and then whoever the winner of that will go back and fight, and Crawford will go back and fight and rematch, whatever. They're going to make the money off the fight, and if Boots beats Crawford, then that's going to be another thing to the sauce. We don't know, but we will never know if Crawford doesn't take that leap or try to do it. He took risks when he was coming up when he had his chances. So why can't he give the opportunity?
Because now he's making life-changing money.
People forget about that.
Making life-changing money. Yeah. Why I gotta go do that when I already worked my ass off? Because I already know. I already know what he thinks. Because I've heard him say it. He said, "I busted my ass for years to get to this position, and you want me to go down and fight?" He views it as a step down. Because Boots hasn't really done anything. He feels like if he beats Boots, people are going to say Boots wasn't nothing. And if he loses the Boots, they're going to say he's a hype job. But people say that regardless.
Oh, my. So he don't win either way?
That's how he feels. He feels it's a no-win situation. But look, I want to address our first Hyro comment out of live.
Hyro?
He says, well, I want to see Angelo Leo versus Dominic French, but we can't get what we want. We're not speaking about that.
We're talking about Spence and Crawford.
Like, hold on. I got to call Hyro. I got to call Hyro out. You dick ride PBC. Was it?
Here we go.
I can't even say 24/7. 25/8. You dick ride PBC. I'm doing a lot about PBC fighters, and you want to talk about dudes at 122. Hyro, do I need to keep talking about 122? Do I gotta do a lot about more Japanese fighters, or do you want to talk about the PBC? Which one is it, Hyro? Which one is it?
The bottom line is
shout out to Lance. We see you, Lance.
Shout out to Lance, to be honest, and all you guys here. My thing is right now, I will agree with you. I would love to see the Crawford. Right now, remember your timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
And because Spence